comrades. Welcome to your Discourse Syndicate's FN Hangout. I am the captain. Your captain, R to the G to the motherfucking 3. Here, once again, on a Friday afternoon, for those of you who are sitting home lonely in your beds, dreaming of me speaking positives into your bag, making them pump, helping you in any way I can, and giving you a little bit of place to be on a Friday night. So, oops, let me unhide my panel here. For those of you who don't know or understand what this is Discourse Syndicate's FN Hangout. It's been going on for, gosh, a little over 5 years, I think we've been going. 5 years, something like that. Got to look at it. I don't even remember. I don't care. I don't really care about the anniversaries. I don't care what the date is that we started. I just know that the only thing that matters is today and what we do today. And what are you doing today to pump your bags? To promote blockchain literacy, to promote the ecosystem that you care so greatly about because you want everybody else to be involved. And not just for Number Go Up. Number Go Up is a byproduct of bringing good, fair, balanced DeFi to the rest of the world. That's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. That's why we do this. We do this to make the world a better place. And we do it with big, giant, heaping loads of enthusiasm, confidence, big, giant, sweet, Texas Twinkie-sized love for this ecosystem. Hello, everybody, and thanks for coming. If you want to join, the way this stream works is you get to come in here. First, I'm going to talk a little bit, a few minutes. Then we have a guest coming on, a guest who is building on the Pulse Chain ecosystem. Now, again, I got to preface this by saying, because this is Discourse Syndicate, we give everybody a shot to come in here and speak, especially those who are known in the community, who are developing on Pulse Chain, doing things in the Richard Heart ecosystem, Hex, PulseX, and whatnot. We let them come here and speak. And I want you to understand that this is no endorsement of anybody. This is so that you can get to know who the people are that are behind these projects. I do my due diligence and try and learn who these people are. And guess what? Even then, we have people that do bad things. It's the way it is. It's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of people here, especially in crypto. It never ends. The grift never ends. It's a sad thing that we've got this incredible tool at our hands, at our disposal, and people still decide that they're better off grifting and stealing from people versus growing and making the world's greatest financial tool available to the rest of the world and doing it in a good way. But grifters are going to grift. People are going to steal. People are going to lie, cheat, and do all that stuff because people are people. So you have to be aware. You have to do your due diligence. You have to research. You have to learn who you are getting involved with when you get involved with these things. I know that the reason I do what I do is because I believe in DeFi. And the best DeFi tools I know out there are Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX. Those are the things that continue to work, that have proven themselves. Maybe not in value, hint, hint, but they have proven themselves functionally. And that's what I like. DeFi that functions. All that other rest of that crypto bullshit, Bitcoin and all that stuff, it's not where I want to be. I want to be in DeFi. And it looks like we're getting favorable legislation, guys. We're getting favorable leanings in of people. I did speak with Zach Conine, the treasurer of Nevada, this week. And a lot of good talks about DeFi. A lot of good talks about what's going on out there. A lot of good conversation about what direction it's going. They're listening, they're learning, they're advocating. And it's about all of us going out and putting a face on it. I talked to him a little bit about how do we, I said, look, man, let me tell you what's going on. And I tell him, the same story I tell you guys every week is there's centralized crypto and there's decentralized crypto. And I think that there's a place in the world for both of them. So if you want security, if you want to be monitored, if you want safety, and you want all of those things with your crypto value to happen, like, trusting the banks and the exchanges and whatnot to watch your money, then okay, let's have the centralized side for the TradFi people that want to come in, which they're coming in boatloads. The walls are falling down, people. Like it's crypto's wet dream with all of the different money houses and agencies and just investment firms and all that are just leaning into crypto like crazy. 401ks can now have crypto in them. Are you kidding me? Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for that executive order. Appreciate that one. You wild willy mofo, you. That was awesome. Now, banks were told, keep your dirty hands off of the people's crypto. Keep your dirty hands off of their banking ability. Do not throttle them anymore. Thank you again, Mr. President. Good job on that one. So we're seeing it. It's happening, folks. It's happening. What happens this week with all this good news? I want to talk about the cycle too a little bit. What I'm seeing and what I think is important, very important. So we also had this other those two pieces pop in about keeping your hands off of people's banking ability. More and more crypto firms coming in and getting into crypto, the 401k thing, all that stuff happening. And now we've got ETH pumping to 4K this week on the news. And that's awesome. Now, I think the major breakthrough is going to be that major onboarding tool that just brings people in like by the droves. And what's nice is this is all happening slow. Now, if you remember, some of you do, back in 2016 was rolling into 17, and every news cycle, every little bit of news that came into crypto either dumped it or pumped it. It was like you'd hear, oh, Tether's not backed by anything. Boom, you crash a little. Then, oh, everything's great, and the ETFs are going to come, and blah, 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 and boom, the news would spark it up, and it would crank up and down on the news. And it mostly cranked because we went all the way through 2017 just pumping hard, right? And all the way to Christmas time until Big Richie called the end of that. So that cycle was like working fast on the news. Boom, 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 boom. You'd see just like you could trade on it. Like it was wild. Now the news cycle, we're getting good news. And then you just see gradual pumps, and then you'll see it cool off, and then gradual pumps. That rhymes with stability. I'm not saying it is stability, but I'm saying it looks a whole lot like it. The quacks like a duck, what looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, all that shit, right? That's what it's looking like right now, is that we're starting to see things move on the news, but the news is coming hard and fast, and it's moving slow. And all of this kinetic energy that's been built up from this extended bear market, this deep bear market that we've had, it's just bullish. And it's looking more and more like an extended, bull run. It's looking more and more like the crypto space actually starting to mellow out and lose some of its volatility. Like maybe we'll never see Bitcoin crash under a, 75K again. Maybe we'll just see it maybe 100K or whatever when this thing's over with, as far and as long as it may run. I don't know how long it's going to run. I don't know how long the cycle is going to last or when it's going to really start popping off, but it's looking really good. I'm liking the signs. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking, it's starting to look more stable, like more of a market, like a lot of news moving the needle a little, and bad news not crushing it that hard. Whales doing their thing, playing whales games. That's fine, but it's starting to look stable. I'm really, really bullish on what's going on right now. I love it. Let me say hi to everybody. Hector the Protector, first in line. What's happening, my brother? Let me pull this over so I'm not freaking breaking my neck. There we go. Okay. What's happening? Chaztown, good to see you. Good to see you. Get those back muscles ready. Time to catch a torch to freedom and longevity. Yes, back is back in shape. For those that don't know, I went, I haven't had, so I've been working on my back. I got, some of I have 8 herniated discs in my back. It's been wrecked from Marine Corps and, the work that I did for many, many years as a millwright, crawling on the concrete, picking up heavy shit. Well, it used to go out 2-3 times a year, 3-4 days in bed, automatic. Well, I worked with a trainer. I worked with a sports massage therapist. I was ready to go in for surgery. They were going to do surgery on my neck. They were going to cage it or change the discs out, or shave the disc. They said shave the disc. It might work, might not. Definitely, if we cage it, that's going to get rid of all the pain and everything. And then replacing the disc, it's kind of a tricky surgery and all that stuff, but it could work too. But they thought the cage would be best. But then I'm running around like this, right? I can't do that shit. So I could hardly move my neck like this. 3 years of working with a trainer, a physical, a bodybuilder, working with a sports massage therapist, and I have full mobility of my neck. No more pain in my neck. A little bit of tingling and numbness every once in a while when I get too tight or I sleep on it wrong. But anyway, my lower back, it's a different story. Hasn't gone out, and it hasn't gone out recently anyway. So I've been glad. It has helped my it has helped my back. It's stopped me from having to have that surgery. And every once in a while, my back goes out now, maybe once a year, but not completely like it used to where I was in bed. Well, this time it went out and I was in bed for at least a day and a half. And then I screwed up. And after I was about halfway good, I went out and prepared for, my son had a party. I had a nephew out, visiting. And yeah, I thought it was necessary for me to get the pool and everything ready. So screwed myself up and ended up hurting for about 4 days in bed. So thanks for all the well wishes and all of you. Appreciate it. But I am back. This chair probably ain't going to help me because it doesn't I need to get a new chair. I definitely need to get a new chair. Come on, bull market, pump me some, get me a new chair. We don't get donations here anymore, or we don't monetize anymore. So monetization was just a pain in the ass. Anyway, so thanks Chaztown for that long explanation. How good. Eagle Owl, what's up? Pesky girl, my lady, welcome. Doubt Token, Tam, hello, lovelies. Hello to you, my lady. And Crypto Stylist, hello. How you doing? Good to have you with us. It must be real. I don't know what time it is for you, where you're at. You're somewhere around the world. Good to have you with us. Doubt Token, Doubt Token. What does it say? Maybe not in value. Yeah, maybe not in value. I said that earlier. Been missing the cigar dice. Yeah, I was down for the count the last one. One of our other guys couldn't make it this last time, so we just want to be there together. It's like kind of our thing to sit down and have a stogie together, and so we'll do that. It's going to be on Monte Cristo's. Man, I saw a good one today. I didn't get it because I have two in the Humi already. Did somebody say wet dream? Attention. Moonmutt, what's up? Welcome. Let's go. Good to have you here tonight. Nobody's fool. I'm not your fool. I'm not your fool. Nobody's fool. Nobody's fool. Right? Isn't that one of those? Did I miss William Dugan? I did miss William Dugan. We are months away from glory. Pulse chain about to melt faces. Well, something's going to melt faces. I don't know if it's going to be pulse chain. My bets on Hex. My bets on eHex. But anyway, that's just what I think is going to melt faces. But I know Hex is going to melt faces. Pulse chain is going to do great too. Crypto's hitting puberty. Yes, that's what I believe. And what's happening, KD? What is up? And Clintrons, what's good? Discourse crew. Well, it's just me. This is the crew anymore. We used to have a whole bunch of streamers on here. You know, there was like, gosh, you can almost catch a show any day, every day, all day. Now we're down to just a couple, just me doing a couple of shows. And hey, anybody wants to come back to Discourse Syndicate and do a show here, you're more than welcome to. You know, I'd love to see new talent come in, and for this bull market, let's put you on there. Let's get you in the the lineup here, and you can do your own show here, do it on our channel, stream it to your other channel, get your other channel pumping, and then bail like everybody else did. We'd love to help get you started here if you'd like to. So that's, reach out to me, reach out to Wild SJ. And just ask us. I'm still open to putting anybody on the channel who wants to do a DeFi crypto show. Anything. Let's chat it up, anybody. So with that, that's the chat room. I appreciate again all of you coming here. Again, bullish on all the news that's going on out there, and we are definitely in for some good times. I think that crypto is in its puberty, and it's starting to see the fruits of its labor. I think that the more and more smart people out there start building things that are going to work in the DeFi space, the better we're going to be. I think that day hasn't come yet where these products that are being built, because they're so cutting edge. I mean, tonight's guest is going to be just that type of person coming in here to explain, some of the things that are going on out there and what they're doing, what they're trying to do, and why they're trying to do it. This community that's wrapped around Pulse Chain and the development of these different cryptos that are doing things that the real world assets can't do, like in crypto, you can program positive externalities into the whole system. And the people who do that the best are going to be the winners, I think, in the next cycle. This cycle is going to be institutional freaking bombardment. This cycle is going to be people choosing a side, DeFi or CeFi. This is going to be a cycle of those things winning or losing. Who's going to be loud enough? Who's going to make the best products? Who's going to make the world a better place with crypto? I think that's what we're looking at right now, because its day is here. The agencies are being defanged, declawed, and told to get the fuck back and let them go do what they're going to do. So now let's let Scooter fly and see what Scooter does. So everybody be extremely careful with everything that's out there. I can't stress that enough. Even when I bring people on here and I bring them up, you do your due diligence. I do. And even I have been screwed by, some of this stuff. So everyone, remember, when I bring somebody on, we're not shilling their thing. We're letting you find out who they are, where you can research them, where you can start interacting with their communities and what they're doing, and make decisions for yourself on whether it's something you want to get involved with or not. Because remember, 90% of this crypto stuff is bullshit. It doesn't work. The rest of it is suspect. It's got to prove itself, and you've got to know who you're getting involved with. And even then, it's very risky. So with that, no financial advice. I've got somebody in the space that has been an OG, been a friend of me. I've watched him in all kinds of different places, spaces where the smart guys hang out, where the developers hang out, where the people that are trying to do the right thing hang out. And because of who he is, what I've seen of him, and how he's moved through the space and his integrity and what he's done, I think that he deserves a chance to come up here and talk and show all you who he is. And most of you know who he is. He's not a stranger to the community. He's no one brand new, but I like the guy, and I want you guys to get to know him from here and from my side of the story. Everybody, my friend Cryptographics, what's up, dude?
Hey, man, it's good to see you back in ship shape, dude. I'm glad you're all healed up from your back.
Thanks, man. It was a rough one this time. Not as bad as it's been in the past, but it was a rough one. Thanks for the well wishes. Appreciate it. Sorry,
Of
we
course.
we missed out last week, but yeah.
That is all good. I'm always happy to wait for the right time to get up here and hang out together. So I always love hearing your thoughts as well. And this is going to be fun because this will be the first time where I'll get to put my what I've been working on and ideas and ethos and everything and all this past while up to scrutiny from you. And I that's something I'm really excited for because I really value the way that you're able to assess things and ask good questions and everything. So I think it's going to be a cool conversation.
Well, I hope I can. I understand a lot of these things only because, from past experience in the TradFi world, just living in the 401k life and the pension life and watching everything happen and winning and losing in the housing market and, and watching Bernie Madoffs and stuff come and go and wreck real world finance. So I learned a lot in that, just, being involved as an adult, trying to retire, trying to get myself to retirement. But then when I got into crypto, I saw that all of those negative externalities that are out there can be programmed into crypto as positive externalities that can't just happen in the real world. You can actually make them happen over here. So, the fact that guys like you are doing that, it really excites me. And I really want to learn more about how it is that you guys are making this stuff happen. But first, let's go back and before we get into what you're doing and what you're trying to create, let's talk a little bit about you and why you got into crypto. This standard stupid, question. But I think that what's important for people to know is, they've got to be able to relate to you. They got to know why you're here, what you're here for, what turned you on about all this, what sparked your mind, in this crypto space. And so are you a grifter, or are you here showing people that you want to do something? So why'd you come to crypto? What's the story, man?
This is kind of a hilarious start because I haven't heard anyone else say the same reasoning. So my mom actually was the one that was like, hey, look at this crypto thing. Look at this crypto thing. Like I think you'll like it. She pushed me. And finally one day I started reading Blockchain for Dummies and Bitcoin for Dummies. So my mom was the one actually that put me onto crypto.
That's a new one. That's a new one.
I know, right?
Moms are usually trying to talk you out of it.
She was the one she was the one that got me into this mess, man. So, so I started.
Let me ask you a question on that. So,
yeah.
So what made mom tell you to get into? Were you a tech geek kid, or what was mom's reasoning for even saying it to you?
So, I mean, I've always had a systems kind of oriented mind where when I was younger, in my late teens to early 20s, I had a Subaru WRX that I bought that was all souped up. It had this custom tune, custom build. It was sick. And so basically I blew up the diffs multiple times on that thing. I basically tore that car down to its bearings and built it back up. It ran for 4 days and then got rod knock, unfortunately. And I was crushed, but basically, so I was all into systems and I was, looking into money. I was always kind of, had a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit, but never really kind of chased it per se. And I guess I don't. We had talks about Bitcoin and whatnot in the past, prior to when she actually really started to pressure me into getting in, or at least researching. But when I looked at Bitcoin, I was like, yeah, it's kind of like the MySpace of the social media world. It's like the first take, and Ethereum feels like it's soon after. I'm like, maybe there's going to be something else coming. And so at that point, then this kind of just progressed. And I don't know why it all of a sudden caught my attention more so than it previously did. I honestly couldn't tell you that, but I finally gave in. I'm going to read this thing. All right, fine. So I took her Blockchain for Dummies or Bitcoin for Dummies books, and I was reading them in the rock truck.
She had them.
She had them. Oh yeah. So I took them and I was reading them in the rock truck when I was getting loaded by the excavator. I was just I was reading away, trying to crush these books. And I started to get up to speed fairly quickly. And I had heard in a podcast with, it was, what's his name? Not Charlie, but Miguel from Dollar Cost Crypto. Yeah. He was on a podcast and he had mentioned Hex. And I remember writing this thing down, and fast forward a year, and I I had been on a podcast, or I started researching this thing, and I was like, and I had found whales only at the time. And then, so I was out at camp again. This was like 6 months later. I was back out of camp, and I was researching this thing. I was listening to whales only for like as many hours as I get my hands on it. And you know how long his videos are, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm learning and I'm learning and I'm learning, and I'm just getting so many objections from people that I'm talking to. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, trying to learn more, trying to tell them about this, trying to tell them about like 38%. Like, you guys don't understand like how powerful this thing can be if you just like lock up a bit and you play the market, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is crazy. And eventually I started a, and what was really funny is all the tokens that she was into, every time I would look at them, I'd be like, no, that's not it. Definitely not. And the tokens that I would be like, Mom, look at this. She's like, no, that's not it. Like, hell no. So it was a really interesting dynamic there. And so, and this has been a dynamic that's kind of gone ever since. It's not hostile at all, but it's more just like only recently in the last like year or so, did I get them to get a little bit of entry point into the Pulse Chain ecosystem, get into PulseX and all that stuff like that. So it's a bit of a battle, but eventually arrived. Anyways, though, after getting out of the mining phase, I started a podcast with a friend, and I had done this. I guess we did an episode on crypto, and I went off. I made this huge presentation, and little did I know that was the dawn of cryptographics right there, because I made my entire presentation. I did this whole hour and a bit long thing, and then after that episode, my friend came to me. He's like, because at the time I was also trying to make like I had the website called Cryptographics. I was making shirts, and I had these ideas to make like Pulse Chain jerseys and they were hockey and there were soccer and baseball and all this. And so crypto and GRFX and graphics was like graphic design. So I already had that. And he came to me and he's like, dude, you have to go and you have to make something out of this. Like, you have to start a YouTube channel or a TikTok. And I was like, I hate TikTok. So I guess I'm making YouTube. And if you go watch my cringe, world's most awkward video in the world, if you go to the first video on my channel, that's where it all started. And from there, it was crazy. No, we all have it for, yeah, exactly. And my God, it's I watch it every once in a while and just laugh, because it's just like, I don't even know who that is.
I can't watch any of my videos, bro. Like, I don't watch any of my videos. I can't stand my voice. I can't stand watching what I've done, and I can't do it.
Oh, man. Oh, dude, you just get used to it. I don't know. Maybe for me, I've just gotten used to it. I've had to hear myself so many times. I've narrated and all this. I guess I got used to it, but I could definitely understand that. And so, basically, I started this channel, and within a freaking month. Now here's the thing. I was so nervous because I love, like, all I knew was I started to really understand Hex. I started to talk a little bit on X, and people were actually liking my comments and retweeting them. And I was like, what the hell? Like, do I actually have something? Like, am I actually doing something here? And then I start just like, because I was so nervous, I wrote every word I was going to say on screen and put it in the presentation, put that on screen, and then read it. And a month later, I had 1,000 subscribers.
Wow.
It was crazy. I was like, I didn't know what was happening, you know? And so, I mean, long story short, that's how the whole cryptographics birth kind of happened, of like making content online. And that slowly evolved into more sophisticated conversations and, you know, meeting, you know, guys like Crypto Coffee and hanging out on streams more. And then, you know, all of a sudden now I have all these models, and I have these math equations floating around in my head trying to figure all this stuff out, and I map it out and I share it, and people are like, whoa. And it's like, it's helping people. And so it was a really cool experience. And little did I know that those models that I was starting to make would literally lead and keep me actually in crypto. Because fast forward about 6-8 months later, it began to really hit me that, you know, I'm not built to be a guy nor do I want to be a guy that's just doing things for views. Like, I can do that to a degree, but it is soul draining. I'm not that kind of guy. I can only do that for so long before I literally have to walk away and almost never come back. And there was twice in the last year and a half that I literally almost walked away from crypto, and I was done. I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore. It's not for me. Like, I don't get fulfillment out of it. I'm trying to help people, but the only way I can feel I can help people is go for views, you know? And so it was a bit of a tough spot to be, until one fateful stream where someone asked me, over on the Titan X ecosystem, what do you want to see built? And I answered the question, and that sparked an idea, and I started mapping it out. And lo and behold, through the next, or from fast forward almost 18 months to today, we're sitting here. But that was what saved me, because I was literally going to walk away then. And from that point where that question was asked, I started thinking and building and then trying to come up with all these things. And I realized every model and every token that I'd ever studied was coming together slowly. And it didn't come together the way I thought about, or I thought it would. But everything that I had done up to that point kind of came to a crescendo. And now we're here, which is just a crazy, like, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the creative side of crypto for me right now.
And that's how it happens, man. I mean, that's a perfect example of, your last challenge, your last failure, your last mistake, your last hurdle does not define you. It doesn't define who you are, where you're going. It's how you react to that challenge that matters, and I was in the same spot, when 17 came, and I was, watching crypto run like crazy, and I was finally making money, and everything was looking good. And I held through the crash, and I was just like, I was done, man. I was like, all the grifting, all that. And for this, and it was my first real look at a bear market, and I didn't see the other crashes. I didn't even know history. I didn't understand what had happened before. And I was ready to go too, because I had been in so many of those grifter telegram rooms, and the wash trading, all the bullshit that I saw out there, just jaded me. And I'm like, there's nobody real in this space. There's nobody real. And then, even when Richard called the top, I hated him for that. I was like, gosh, that freaking idiot asshole called it freaking top. And then I was like, well, wait a second. A couple of days later, I was like, wait a second. This crypto thing is still what you thought it was. It's just, there's a lot of bad apples in it. You read the white paper, you know what it means, you know what it could do to the world. And that guy that you're pissed off at called the top, you dummy. Like, he's kind of smart. You might want to go and check out his history and see where because I'd been watching him for, a year or so there. And so that's when I went back and realized, you know what, this stuff doesn't define me or crypto, and it's going to move forward. It's not going anywhere. It just needs time to mature. It's young. It's just starting to take off. There's a lot of things coming at it, with real world finance and banks. And really, do you think that it's going to be easy to go after the banks and the world financial system, to usurp it, to replace it, to make it better with the power that's behind all that, the world's armies and governments and everything else? Like, come on, are you kidding me? This is going to be a tougher fight than that. You better pull up your pants and get out there and get to it. And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm all in on this thing. And my next failure is not going to define me. I just got to work through it and go to the next thing until we all succeed. So I hear you, man. I'm with you on that. So once you've decided that, you're all in, and you started to see your crypto vision coming together, what put you to work?
Oh man. Well, initially, so there was multiple waves, within that, which was really interesting, because when I first started, I created, at the time, it was like a call option kind of thing that had not really been done before. And I was like, ooh, this is cool. And so I was chasing this, and then I realized something was broken in it. And I was like, damn. So I kind of stepped away, and I lost some steam. A week or so went by, and I started looking at the sheet again, and I was like, wait a second. So I start tweaking some things, and we're back. Okay, then boom. Now I'm talking to friends. I'm talking to people about this, like running ideas by people, shopping around for build costs and all this. And it's beginning to get a little real. And then I get the build costs, and I'm like, oh, maybe this is a little bit out of hand for what I can actually handle right now. And especially because at the time I wanted to build a twin protocol, at that time. And so I backed off. I had more conversations with people, and eventually I actually gave up completely again. And this time I was in a group chat, and I literally gave up the white paper. I sent the white paper away. I sent all the ideas. I sent the branding, sent everything into the chat. And I said, guys, because I knew these people had the money, they could build it. So I was like, you know what, guys, if you want to build this, if you like it, I'm going to give up. I just need to walk away from this. Like, hopefully one of you likes it. Because I did want to see it get built. I like the idea. I thought it was really cool. And I thought there's something to it. So I sent this into the chat, and I don't know if it was instantly or within 30 seconds. It felt like, looking in hindsight, it felt like it was in that same moment. I swear to you, I pressed enter, sent it all, and like a flash of lightning, I saw the staking mechanic for what would later now be Unity and Torus, and it would complete this whole system. And I freaked out. I went back to the computer, like deleted everything as fast as humanly possible, and began just grinding. And that was in August, September of last year. And I did not stop working. As soon as that came in, then I saw it. Then I realized, okay, this is actually something serious. This isn't like a cool protocol anymore. This isn't something that's like, a nice DeFi tool. This is like, oh, this is something different. I've arrived at something, or something came in. And what was cool was, I can't say that it was my idea. What I can say is, every step along the way, yes, the staking idea came through, of course, but every step along the way, every conversation that I had shaped this protocol, or these protocols, to be what they are, more so than if I just sat in a room by myself. Every single conversation I had such a major impact on the course of how everything would be, that there's no way these protocols could exist the way they are with every single conversation up to now.
No, but nobody succeeds alone. I mean, that's whether you were mentored or somebody gave you an idea, or you learned from nobody succeeds alone. Period. End of story. And especially in this space, and in the rooms you hang out in, a lot of the chats that you hang out in and stuff. I mean, that's where the smart of the smart are, and that's where you guys are getting all these ideas and bouncing them off each other. And it's amazing to sit back and watch, the smartest of the smart go in after all this stuff, and the galaxy brains that come up with some of the shit you guys are doing is just insane, man.
Oh, thanks. Those rooms are fun. Those rooms are fun, and they're heavy hitting. And without those people that have been here also a long time and have contributed extreme amount to the ecosystem.
Exactly.
I mean, dude.
And that's what's given me hope, because all the Telegram rooms that I was in, like back in 2014 through 17, it was grifters. It was, this Telegram room supported this 4 or 5 group of Telegram rooms over here, that these guys were going to rug pull those guys and get these guys to pump the bag, and all that bull crap. And then, but in this ecosystem, I see all of these rooms full of smart guys trying to build something good, trying to use the chain to, take all these ideas and build on top of each other's ideas. And I don't see anybody being greedy and, hiding stuff. It's like you guys are all open books, and they're just sharing and trying to make things happen. And then, one guy will build something, and it might not have enough, or it might fail, or it might have this issue or that issue. And then everybody comes back in and they try something else. And, and that's what I've been really, that's been when it comes to the tech, when I look back at where this ecosystem is going, that's what really motivates me, is seeing guys like you in there, continuously trying to make things better, making things work, and building on things that haven't,
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's really cool to then be having this conversation then, because I honestly never expected all those conversations, the models, the grinding to figure out like all of these super innovative tokens that have been built over the years, from the RH tickers to Hedron and Icosa and beyond, right? Everything that's been built in the name of Pulse Chain and Hex, that all is the reason why any of us can bring any of this together or create anything, because people came before us and built something, and we learned from what went well and what didn't, and we just keep going onward. And I mean, for me, that all led to here, which is a very bizarre thing, considering, like, just to reflect the fact that I literally was going to leave crypto multiple times. I was going to go back to the mines. I was going to go going to go back to school potentially. I was just so done. And now I was so checked out, and now I'm so checked in that it's like the polar opposite of what I thought I was going to be about a year and a half ago. It's a funny switch to me.
Yeah, the middle of the bear market can do that to you. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well,
especially
100%.
if you're looking at your wallet on a continual basis, and the charts on a continual basis. Those people I feel sorry for. If you're staring at your wallet, you're staring at the charts. The middle of the bear market is the worst time to do that. But that's really the time to do what you did, and that's, hey, this stuff's not going to define me. The bear market is here. I've got things to do. I've got work that needs to be done, and I've got a vision, and I'm going to go to it. And I mean, that's basically what I did with the tour. I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep relevant. I'm going to keep Pulse Chain relevant even during the bear market. I'm going to go out there and speak positive about it, speak positive into it, while everybody else was out there fudding it and tearing it down and calling it a failure. I wanted to get out there and change that narrative and just be a part of the positive movement and not part of the it's failed movement. And because this market, this bear market, this downturn that we see every single 4 years, isn't defining what all of this stuff is. Hex hasn't changed from the day it launched, and it went 10,000x, and it's still the same thing. Some of the metrics have changed, of course, with the staking and whatnot, but this too shall pass, and when it does, then of course everything will be relevant again once everybody sees it in a different light, meaning green candles.
Yep. Everyone has a memory that's as short as about the distance between the last red can or the last green candle to this green candle. If a green candle comes, everyone forgets, and everyone forgets about how quickly things can move up, and it's like crypto goes up or it doesn't. There's no in between, especially in the space that we're in. We're on the cutting edge of everything. Stuff goes up or not, right?
Yeah. And it goes up crazy, and it goes not crazy.
100%.
So let me say something to the chat room real quick. All right, everybody. So Cryptographics is here. He's got a project that he's building on Pulse Chain. He's an OG. He's been around for a long time. He's hangs out with the smart of the smart. I don't know if you even want to talk about your dev crew a little bit, but your dev crew comes with a pedigree in and of itself, and that would be a good thing to mention too. But everybody else that's out there, feel free. We're going to put the link in the chat. You can come on in. Oh, hold on a second. Let me look for it here. I think SJ, you back there? Go ahead and throw the link in the chat so everybody can jump in. So this is your show. You guys want to come in and talk to Graphics about what he's doing, who he is, and grill him, and I'm sure he'll be willing to answer anything you want. And this is your show. Come on in and hang out. Let me see if anybody's asking. Let's see. Hexicon. Someone kick out Rags from the chat. Only room for one ginger, and that's me. All right, Hex down under. Yeah, we only need one soulless person in the chat room. Let's keep it to one. OG fart. That's fine too. Okay. Yes, thank you, SJ, for your energy. Oh, SJ's not on here. She's in the background working, so she's producing the show, doing what she's supposed to do. So, all right, so that's out there, guys. You want to come in? Feel free to join us. This is your show. This is for you to join. So, where were we? You're getting started. You figured out what you want to do. Everything's come together. Now you're bullish. Pulled you out of the bear market blues, gave you something to do. Now when's everything coming to fruition? What are you seeing? What should everybody know about your project as it's coming live here?
Yeah. So, I mean, first thing is it's launching between August 18th to 20th. Okay. So I just want everyone to be able to, when you're watching this stream, understand the timeline and how much time you have to research and get educated and do whatever you want to do before it goes live. But I mean, oh God, there's so much to say about Unity specifically. I mean, even the name itself.
Like it?
It was perfect. The first one I built was called Torus because it was designed, and there's so much into it. There's the nature of, if you look at what the logo of Unity and Torus both are, they're both actually talking about the same thing, and they're both an image, the same concept structurally from two different angles, and that's a bioelectromagnetic field, a toroidal bioelectric magnetic field. And when you're looking
that up for me, please.
It's basically for a crypto standpoint, from a very surface level standpoint, that kind of energy field goes around and around and around, right? in physics, this just kind of cycles around. It's a donut, but yes, it's it goes around and around. It's like a compounding machine, right? And so that was the surface level. It's a black hole. It sucks it in and pushes it back with the other side and pulls it in and accelerates, right? And so it gets stronger and stronger over time. And this was kind of what's that? Sorry?
Kinetic energy.
Exactly. And it builds, it gets more powerful, and you should call it beard. Oh, yeah.
Donut.
You want to, oh my God. If you want to fork it, you want to call it donut beard. I mean, maybe if someone builds a meme token.
Donut beard is the meme, guys. Get it out there. I want to see that that on pump tires. Let's see.
There it is. Done. So, but my experience of life the last while has been pretty profound in realizing, at least in my experience, how interconnected all things are, and how, we individually have such an ability to, create impact with just such subtle amounts of action and subtle words and subtle energy that we're giving out into the world. And, one of the really cool things about Pulse Chain specifically is that it has such a vibrant, big community for something that is so like outcasted by the mainstream. And for me, it was like, when I first got into the Pulse Chain, it was very united. Everyone had the common goal. It felt really great. There wasn't too much weird, funny business happening at the time. And as time went on, things started to change as the bear market blues kicked in further, and things evolve, and Pulse Chain comes out, and more stuff gets built on Pulse Chain, more sub communities get built. And I began to see that there wasn't division, but there was like almost subdivision happening within Pulse Chain. And in terms of from communications and from, it just didn't feel like there was as much unity as there once was. And even if that's only partially true, because it's just based on what I've seen in my experience, that, Pulse Chain is about rallying together to be the cutting edge of DeFi, true DeFi. And so what better name to give a protocol that is designed to draw in incredible demand, burn an incredible amount of PLSX, and be a perpetual machine that lifts all ships on Pulse Chain. If this is actually successful, what better name to call it than Unity? So that's where the name came from, and then some, but we'll stop there.
So something you said, I want to kind of dig into, because it really explains something that I'm seeing well as a macro externality in this space. So this crypto space and each token, as they move and grow and develop and expand and contract and move with, of course, because of Bitcoin's halvening, we see that financial energy. So there's two types of what I think is energy in this space. You have the community energy, the people that are shilling, forcing, moving, talking the news, all that stuff that's bringing awareness to the space, and then you've got the financial energy that comes and goes too, because of the halvening. So you see this coming and going of the energy, and it seems that when everything is in unity, which green candles bring that, so money and value coming into the system seem to bring that unity, bring that contraction, get everything moving and spinning in the same direction. That whole thing. One of my biggest things is somebody taught me. I was freaked out one day and just having a hard time, and the dude told me, "Bro," looked at me and said, row your boat gently down the stream. And I was like, what the? And he said it again, and I was like, oh, I get it now. It's the least amount of friction that you cause, the more you go with the system that you're trying to be a part of, the more you go with the flow, the stronger and easier it is for everybody to move in the same direction, and it gets things going. And as it contracts and that financial energy comes in and all the kinetic energy gets built up, boom, it loses that energy and the financial energy explodes out and the unity of the community explodes out and you get the fracturing and all that kind of stuff. And then the bear market sets in and all that energy goes out. And then as everything starts to come back together, the financial energy starts to come back in, the unity, people come back together, it just starts growing again. And we've been seeing this expanding and contracting of those two things happening over and over. And it's happening right now. We're starting to see that energy start to build. And it seems like whoever goes with the flow, whoever, tries not to buck the system is the ones who actually help things along and help things move and help things grow. That just, when you said that, it just kind of like sparked an image of me and I keep seeing this black hole and everything kind of expanding and contracting and this space. When I was on the, my rant earlier, it was about, the volatility starting to leave crypto and everybody starting to kind of like lean into crypto. We've got legislation, we've got rules and laws and everything. The 3-letter agencies being called off the backs, the banks being called off the backs of the crypto people. And I think that we're in for a real sweet run here this time.
I honestly could not agree more. This is especially, I've had a few people that I've talked to that, but not very many. I think most people are starting to really feel like this cycle is going to be longer, sweeter, and it's going to be worth every brutal moment that we went through the last 4 years, man. And I really hope so too, because it would be so nice to feel, because I don't like now. I was not here pre-2017. I was not here pre-2021. I got in. Richard always says, "Hi, Richard." Called the top on the day. I'm the opposite. I'm Steve. I bought the top on the day, and then wrote it down for 3 years. So, I mean, I got in right as everything was at the top, wrote it all the way down. But this is all I know. But it feels as though you can almost see that the expansion of everything kind of disperses. And now it's almost like a collective feeling that everyone's feeling that, okay, we're getting closer. You could see the excitement and everyone building and this like coming together. And it is that unity that's kind of pushing forward. And I don't know, with all the factors at play, with the regulations, with the institutions buying in, with the potential for adoption coming in with all the regulations and just how much is kind of being pressure cooked right now, what that could lead to. But it really makes me excited. And it's why I am also really excited about Unity, because if that's the case and you can get something that brings in and holds on to that unity over time and maintains kind of that united structure of a space, even if it's a smaller, a fractal, so to speak, of the larger space, then if it can do its job consistently, which is, scarcity on PulseX and demand because of it, because there's less tokens and more required to participate. I mean, that's just going to suck more in, get more attention, make a bigger community. And then at some point you can't ignore it. It's like a black hole, the event, that event horizon gets so big as it swallows more that eventually you think it's a star.
Yeah.
From a distance.
What like is, I'm looking back in retrospect to, how I felt when I got in 2014, it was just Bitcoin. There was just Bitcoin in there. There was no Ethereum. There wasn't anything else. And watching the other tokens come in and launch and watching the hype and watching things grow and seeing how fast it grew. And when it just went to that, 1%, 2%, we first hit that first $1 trillion market cap in the space. And first it was 750 billion. I remember that. And then, then the first trillion and the stuff that was out was just garbage. I mean, it was just basically a whole world of meme coins and promises. And now we've got real financial products that can do shit. And the people don't even know. Like this community, this ecosystem, the things that you're building, the things that other people have built on Pulse are the most innovative things. And I mean, some of them have been forked from Ethereum. So there's things out there, there's other ecosystems out there that are doing these things also in the DeFi space. But they're really going unknown because people are looking at those protocols and going, oh, number go up. I'm just going to buy them because number go up. I own Aave because number go up, not because of what it does and what it is. I'm going to buy, Ripple because it's part of the, I want to get in that ecosystem and part of the government and part of the banking system, and that narrative has been worn out and played out, whatever. And by the way, congratulations. They won their case and suit and everything shut down from the SEC on that stuff. Another feather in the cap of crypto. But when we really, and that's why I think that maybe this cycle, we're going to see these things looked over. Like Hex. I mean, let's look at Hex is like the most basic of the basic badass solid DeFi crypto protocols that are out there. Solid, doesn't have any tricks or gimmicks. It's literally you stake it, you make more of it, and that's it. And it exists on a proof of stake network. It's perfect as it sits, and it's very simple. Even though the tokenomics on it, as far as staking percentages and T-shares and all that, and shut up everybody, I'm not answering what a T-share is, are a little more nuanced and complicated for people to understand at first. It's a very simple protocol. And then the stuff that you guys have made is cutting edge, positive externalities out the yin yang that the world has never even seen before. Like you guys are just like, oh my gosh, this shit's possible. I can make it do this. I can make it do that. And you guys are like, wow, boom, I'm going to throw this in there. And oh my gosh, you guys are bouncing ideas off each other's head and making these protocols that are just going to blow the world away when they really see what they are, and what crypto can do, besides number go up, and we haven't seen that exponential growth in crypto yet, because they say it takes about 3%, like in order for any movement, rebellion, revolution, it takes 3% of the people getting really, really excited and really moving forward in something to make that momentum explode. Like, we've all seen the guy dancing on the hill, acting a fool. Everybody's looking like, oh my God. And then another person joins them. And then as soon as you get like 3 or 4 people in there, then all of a sudden, whoosh, and there's nobody in the world that hasn't heard of crypto now. Everybody's heard of crypto. Most people are afraid of it. They don't know it. They're curious about it. But now the people that I knew in my life that had nothing to do with it, they're now curious. And some of them are onboarding, some are getting involved. So once we hit that 3%, man, which is where we're at, and we've been there for a little bit, and boom, it explodes 4, 5, 6% of the world, it's going to go absolutely nuts. And with regulation and legislation and everything leaning in like it's leaning, it is set for just massive explosion. And then you guys who have built these protocols, next cycle is going to be your guys' game. You guys will own this stuff, because anybody who's got positive externalities programmed into this shit makes people really want to get involved. It's going to go nuts.
I would love that. I hope that's the case. I really do. And on the note of, the 3%, it's funny because I'm actually, it's funny you're saying that, because actually just over the last few months, I've been having more conversations with people that are like family or close friends, where they kind of know what I've been doing. And they ask like, so what's going, like, tell me about this whole, like, it's a little curious, and then they tell me their stories, and I realize just like how easy and susceptible the real world is to people that say, I'm crypto, I can get you into crypto, and they take your money and then they do something with it on paper, and then oh, sorry, I lost it. And then they think, oh, it's all a scam. And when in reality, it's like, okay, we need to have some conversations about what crypto is and what crypto is not. But
yes,
that sucks. And that's an opportunity though, where there's that interest for all of us that are in this space right now, like watching the stream or on the stream or on streams and in this space in general. With us being on the precipice right now, it is so important to take advantage of the opportunity while there's that curiosity, without having maybe negative exposure, to bridge that gap in a way that sets people up positively for years and years and years to come. And it's becoming extremely apparent right now how curious people are becoming compared to even a year or two ago. and how important it is and how easy it is for someone to say, oh, I can show you how to crypto and take your money, and then you never see it again. And then they think crypto's a scam, even though like it's like saying a butter knife's a scam, because you ordered the wrong one on the internet and you thought you were getting it shipped from, you get what I'm trying to say, but it's ridiculous. So yeah, I think you're bang on the money. I'll be very interested to see how quickly that tipping point goes from 3% to 5% to 10% and beyond.
And that's, positive growth. That's going to be the biggest. I mean, imagine all of this, this time that has gone on, 13, what are we now? 14 years into crypto. So before 14 years, that has gone on to get to this point. And to see all of the things that are in place now, the horizon and what it's looking like. I mean, this year alone, it's, we went from 17 where we could get ETFs to, then we got ETFs, and then, maybe we'll get, institutions to start looking at it again. And then now you've got Warren Buffett saying good things about crypto. You've got, Jamie Dimon saying, yeah, we're going to like crypto. I'm going to do crypto too. Yeah. And now it's like, let the 401k. It's like, okay, now everything's set for that exponential growth. And if you've been here as long in this thing now, and you've seen the growth that you've seen, even those of you who were here for the Hex's first run, the growth that you're going to see over the next, couple of cycles here is going to be insane. Like you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait those 14 years anymore. It's going to be year over year. It's going to start doubling, just like when we see a bull run go. It takes all that energy to get to a penny, 2 pennies, 3 pennies. And then all of a sudden it goes 5, 10, 20, 50, $1, $1.50, $3, 10, 20. Look at Bitcoin's running now, and when it goes up. And so it's exponential energy. It's the pulling back, the drawing back of the kinetic energy is about to start spinning in the direction of positivity. And yeah, it's going to be friggin' phenomenal. So we've got somebody in the green room. I'm going to bring them up. You probably got some questions. What do we got here?
What?
Donut beard.
Oh my God, donut beard. I forgot about that already.
They've already memed it, bro. And it's probably already on pump.time. So everybody, we've got Dr. H, the crypto practor. What's happening? How you doing, Dr. H?
Thanks, guys. Yeah. Really good. Hey, it's been a minute, Cryptographics. I've not seen you around for ages. Nice to see you. We actually got in around about the same time. And I loved your stuff when you
I was going to say, I recognize your name, but it took me a moment. I'm like, where do I know this? Aha, right. Yeah, now I got it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So we were working together right at the beginning.
Yep. Wow.
That's some really, really good material. Yeah. When we were just talking about Hex then.
Yeah, that would have been 2022, I think. That would have been 2022.
Yeah. So it's nice to see you.
You too.
Quite a journey. You've been on quite a journey. I've been watching from a distance.
Oh, we all have, man. We all have.
So yeah, it's nice to see things picking up a little bit, which is good. Some crazy stuff going on. I was just watching the crazy ratios. I mean, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about this, but Hex and eHex, those crazy ratios the last kind of week. It's that's because
as far as how they're trading apart from each other, or the
the divergence. It's gone from it was originally around about when we all launched. I actually never thought it was going to get to 1-to-1. I didn't think P-Hex was going to get close to E-Hex just because E-Hex was so massive. But obviously that happened really, really quickly. And then it went to 2.2 for the longest time. And then obviously when E-Hex had its announcement made, it went to 4.2. I've just been watching it just for feeling and just learning to do a little bit of liquidity providing just as a learning tool. But obviously the liquidity providing, you want to know the ratio so that when you get in, you want to make sure that you don't need to get out until it comes back to that ratio again. And that's really when you can, I actually, with eHex and PHEX, I monitored it over 6 months. When the ratio came back, I was at 16%. I'd made a 16% game. But of course, I wasn't in any hurry, and I like both of them. I like EHEX and PHEX, so I don't care. I swing both ways. So yeah, so that's what I'm enjoying. Actually, I'm enjoying watching that, and obviously, I'm enjoying watching the figures start to go in the right direction. I'm sure we all are. How long may that continue?
Yep. I'm watching the Hex pulse chain ratios. It's been climbing up too.
Well, that was 4-1 when when it first started, when the ecosystem first started, because I was I massively over sacrificed for Pulse X, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't buy enough Pulse, but those ratios kind of ended up working out for me just by not doing anything really. It's funny when people said at the beginning, just sit on your hands, and I was itching way too much to do stuff. And actually, I think sitting on the hands would have been by far and away the best play.
Yeah, sometimes simplicity.
It always seems to be.
Yep, the easiest things are the hardest things sometimes.
Yeah, and the most simple things.
Yep, 100%. And that Pulse X ratio is cooking against Pulse.
Yeah. Let's see, where are we at? So Pulse X is
0.8.
0.81. Yep. Wow, it is. Look at that. And then,
like I said, that was 4-1 when the ecosystem first launched, and then it's been kind of up and back and forth. But that's crazy where it is now. But like I say, it worked out for me.
222%, man. You can't don't fade that.
Nope.
I mean, all-time high is over 1-1. That's freaking nuts, man.
It's wild. That is wild. And then what is Hex pulse ratio is 256 pulse per hex now. Yeah. And that's moving up. Interesting. Let's get it back to 800.
It's going the right direction.
And that could be done easily.
Yeah, thin liquidity, man. It wouldn't take much.
Oh my gosh, there is no hex. I mean, it is so, what's out there is just so ridiculously thin. I mean, a few buys and it's going to be all gone. I mean, my goodness. I mean, what's the supply on PHEX? I think EHEX is even less, right?
I would assume so. I think for sure that's the case.
Yeah, I was going to look. Oh, look at that double cup and handle or double saggy boob chart that we've got. Wow, that looks nice. That looks really, really nice. And everybody knows I'm not a chart guy, but that looks really, really good. Let's see. Oh my gosh, supply is 4 million. That's liquidity. Yeah. Wow. Supply. Insane.
Cool.
Insane.
Captain, I'm going to have to shoot on because it's late where I am. I've got some things to do. I just want to pop in and say, hey, I just want to get my energy back into the system a bit, back into the ecosystem a bit. Now, you mentioned something about coming on and perhaps doing a show in amongst the Discourse Syndicate. I'll reach out to you about that because it's time to start giving back to the ecosystem because I've had to stop to focus on work, not because of the prices, just because some other stuff that was going on. But yeah, it's time. Now is the time to put the energy in. Yeah,
it's good. It's good to have everybody back too. Everybody starting.
I love you, Stuart, and leave you.
What's that?
I love you too, and leave you. Have a great. I say I love you too, and leave you. I'm off now. Have a great rest of the year, and I'll see you again.
All right, Doctor. See you, buddy.
Best way to reach out just through. Well, in fact, I've got all your details. Somewhere.
Yeah. Just hit in the DMs or hit SJ. We'll chat with you.
Thanks a lot. Take care, guys.
Cheers, man.
Oh, what did Christopher Head say? Hey, Chris said when RG3 starts, something. Well, I mean, I try and keep my head out of the charts, but when I start seeing the macro and the micro start to rhyme, start to meet, start to move together, that's when I really start kind of paying attention to the charts just to see what I'm going to wake up to. I like, because there is going to come a day, guys, where you wake up to just green candles and the red ones are going to be very, very insignificant, and we haven't seen a lot of that over the years, and some of you children were born in these red candle days, and trust me, they go up just as fast, as hard, and as long as they go down, and those are good days. That period of time that it does that is a lot shorter. If you look at the peaks and valleys, peaks are peaks and valleys are low and long. So just realize that. And for those of you born in this down market, it's not going to last much longer. And then you're going to blink and it's going to be over. So prepare yourselves for that. For those of you, and I'm just going a little macro on this. For those of you who are using this as some type of a tool, and again, this is not financial advice, it's definitely time for you to have your plan in place. Your exit strategy. If you're exiting, you just sit back and watch strategy, if that's what you're doing, and then, or prepare yourself for the next entry, which will be the next bear market. So it's time to prep. It's time to get yourself ready. And hopefully you're not overextended, and hopefully you're not putting yourself in a position where you could get hurt or wrecked. So be wary of that. Take a look at your liquidity pools, all the things that you're in. It's time to really start paying attention to those things, because it's here, guys. It's here. We know it by looking at Bitcoin. We know it by looking at what Ethereum's done this week. 4K. I mean, hit 4K, guys. And it did that quietly. It's all this stuff is happening quiet. I mean, Bitcoin went to 100K kind of quietly. Retail has not been alerted to what's going on yet. It's just retail is still sleeping at the wheel on this, and I know there's a lot of stuff globally going on that may be focusing people's attention on other shit, but crypto is about to eat everybody's lunch. It really is.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to add one thing that you were saying. If anyone is overextended, please consider taking this next bull run to learn to not get yourself overextended and to set yourself up so that you are no longer overextended in the future with the way that you operate in the space. If you have to overextend and it works out, hey, great. But I hope to God you never have to do it again, because we all know how it feels to be overextended in the volatility of this damn space. And holy, it ain't for the faint of heart, man.
Yeah, and you don't want to be in that position. You don't want to be in a spot where you're hurting yourself financially. It's not a good feeling. It's not good to see it in other people. That's one thing I really hate is, seeing the people that I know that have made mistakes or have overextended themselves suffer, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's really sad, and it ruins lives. It does. This is it's almost as bad as gambling. You've got to be really, really cautious about what you do. When I got in this space, I knew that it was not my investments. I wasn't putting my properties online. I wasn't putting any of my investments, my gold hoards, my silver hoards, my, 401ks, any of my stuff that I've accumulated over the years. I wasn't going to put any of that stuff at risk. Not that any of those things were really going to save my ass in retirement. I was still going to have to work till I was probably 70 something years old in order to, cash in on everything. But, you don't want to overextend yourself or take your family's value, your value that you've earned to gamble it on this thing, because it's not, that crypto's going to fail, or fail you. It's your position in the market and what you do in that entry and that exit, whether you panic, you overextend and you panic exit or whatever, or you don't exit and you get wrecked and time goes by and you can't pay bills or what. You've got to realize, you've got to plan for the worst. Plan for the worst. Don't quit your job. Don't think that this run is what's going to save you. You're staked out 15 years and you're like, oh yeah, this is it, man. I'm good. Yeah, no. Don't quit your day job. Don't get yourself in a position where you think you can do crypto full time. All right, let's see what we've got going on in the chat room. So many bullish headlines on the daily. It's just every day, new stuff's coming out. New I mean, the executive orders that came out today, all this stuff is just bullish, 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 bullish. Yeah. And then what else we got? What says that? Oh, mistakes are done to learn. Own mistakes, or your own mistakes teach best. Yeah. I mean, they teach the hardest lesson. It's easier to learn from other people's mistakes. I've learned that. Yeah, you if you can learn how to learn from other people's mistakes, that's really, really good.
That's a superpower, man.
That's a superpower. I've tried to do the best I can, learning from other people's mistakes. And ladies and gentlemen, it's Fast Abdul that is here for the tech, and I'm here for the still here. I'm still here for the just the here.
I'm just here, man.
So let's somebody said you own your own mistake. Better. Yep. Did we lose your cam?
Yeah, just my camera.
That's all right.
All right. Duck and rabbit it is.
When are you coming to Slidell to get some crawfish? What's up, man? Anytime I can get out there to get some crawfish, I love me a good crawfish boil. That's for sure. Who's got a van to donate to the cause? That's the new meme, the van meme. Yeah, who's got a new van? Bring it. So, all right. Well, let's get into your tokenomics and your token a little bit, and talk a little bit about what you got going on there. I mean, you don't have to go through the whole website and all that. We'll link everybody to it, and they can do it. But give us the gist. Your 5-minute elevator pitch, and we'll kind of wrap some questions around it.
Yep. So I'll start with the presupposition that everyone here kind of understands Bitcoin, even a little bit, because this is the easiest way. If you understand Bitcoin, this is the easiest way to understand Unity. Imagine if you could, with Bitcoin, stake your Bitcoin to compete with the miners that are earning the block rewards. What would that do to the demand on Bitcoin? What would that do to the price of Bitcoin? What would that do to the use case of Bitcoin? If Bitcoin had a consistent way for retail or for anyone to compete for basically yield over time in a decentralized way, no middlemen, scarce supply, limited finite supply, what would that do to the price? That's Unity. Okay.
So explain how that works. Like if you were to, how would you build up against something? What's the function? What's the functionality of the crypto? How does it work to do that?
So essentially, well, this is where all my studying of Hex comes into play, because Hex was the first system to use shares. And so what I realized is you could use shares as a proxy, so to speak, or as like a medium to have two different actions enter into and earn from the same pool or the same source. But typically there's two disconnected sources and you need two different pools, so to speak, or two different places where people can earn from if there's two different mechanics that you can do in a system. But what I realized was there are two types of mechanics in crypto. There's the bear market mechanics, which is staking, and there is a bull market mechanic, which is like a minting at a fixed price, or a mining where you put one token in and it spits you out other tokens. If the price goes up, you basically are able to. It's like you can think about it like Bitcoin in the bull run, right? Miners, they mine Bitcoin. And as the price goes up, the value of their Bitcoin goes higher, so they can compound. They sell that for a massive profit. That's exactly that. There's two different mechanics, but typically these mechanics have two different sources that each are earning from, or they're disconnected in their incentive structure. They get two different timelines. They're earning different tokens, blah, blah, blah. They're just completely out of whack, right? And so what I realized what you could do is you can actually have a Bitcoin-like supply where it starts off early, going vertical in the supply distribution, and slowly tapers off to a maximum supply, and then have these two mechanics come in where now you can compound in a bull market and DCA in a bear, and you're constantly earning from the same place. And it's for everyone that's a big fan of Hex because of the math and the T-shares and everything. This is like a nerd's paradise. The amount of sub relationships and dynamics and reflexivity and all this in this system, it's pretty intense, but when you use it, you'll never find this out because it's designed with simplicity in mind. Like, I really wanted to make sure if it's going to be like cutting edge, like next level stuff, you can't know it when you go to the DApp. And that's the design. Is you go to the DApp. If the price is higher, you're going to see the ROI for creating is going to be higher. So you typically want to create if you want to get the most shares in the system at that time to earn. If the price is low, you decide to go over to the staking side because the ROI is higher over there, and you just keep earning in that sense. And again, there's a lot to this, so I don't want to go too far too quickly.
Yeah.
But you know,
so what does the protocol do other than operate on Pulse Chain? What does it do for the core coins? What is it part of the core coin system? Is it connected? What does it do for the core coins other than, compete for market share?
So this is actually the beautiful thing, is that Unity is designed to burn the living hell out of the PulseX supply. It's built on PulseX. You can use Pulse to get, so this is the really cool thing. This Unity was designed to take PulseX to another level. And by doing so, it pushes Unity to another level as well. And then if there's enough demand that it's doing its job, it's really driving demand into PulseX, it's driving demand through Pulse first to get to PulseX, which is lifting everything on the ship or everything in that tide. So you've got PulseX is the token that it's paired with systemically and in liquidity. But really what Unity is designed to do, even outside of its own system and the incentive structure and everything, really what it's designed to do is drive demand into PulseX. How does it do this? Well, you can use PulseX or Pulse to enter the system.
Okay.
96%, basically all of that Pulse, except for a small percentage, from if it's submitted in Pulse, is forced into PulseX. So if people are like, I don't want to participate, I don't want to sell my PulseX, I don't want to go in, all I'm going to do is I'm going to just put in my Pulse, right? Well, they just made sure that all that Pulse that they submitted to the system is going into PulseX. So that's buy pressure that PulseX may never have seen that is guaranteed to go into it now. And a small chunk, so for every dollar, 4 cents is bought and burned or just burned of PulseX, which means this is nearly 18 times or nearly 20 times more powerful of a buy and burn than the PulseX DEX's buy and burn on transaction volume. And there's a staking fee, which means if anyone wants to participate in the staking or the creating, PulseX gets burnt. So for every $1 million in the protocol, $43,100 of PulseX gets burnt. That's significant. And when every single action in the system with very high incentivization is coming together, you have a recipe for numbers that people just aren't ready for. And this is where the whole vision comes together, where you're creating insane scarcity and then creating demand to also be coupled with that. That's going to send PulseX as high as anyone can possibly imagine, especially if we're compounding in the midst of a bull run. Like, that's what it's designed to. Obviously, designs don't always work out exactly, but this is as close as I've ever seen anything to being able to achieve something like that, given the nature of how it's leveraging, how it's burning the token, how it drives demand in, its reflexivity. And one thing that's important to understand here about this is that typically, like if you have a protocol, like let's say if I was to use the 15-year model or the 10-year model for this, right? This wouldn't work the same, because long periods of time when there's a buy and burn and there's a building liquidity and burning regularly, it doesn't work when there's long periods between start and finish. But if you can shorten that to 88 days, and in this case it is for both staking and creating, it's 88 days, what you do is you kick everyone out of the system every 88 days. And even if they want to go back and stake, they need to bring in more PulseX. And as the supply expands, so does the amount of PulseX required to stake the supply. And so you get this,
how a T-share operates.
It's honestly, and this is, I say this very carefully, and it's not to say anything other than the word extreme. This system is designed to be even more extreme than the T-share, and not better, not worse. It is more extreme.
So awesome. So I like that. Now I'm gonna bang the hard questions, or at least give you the hard, feedback, because, of course, everybody, the OGs, the maxis, whatever, they're gonna say, Hex is good enough. Why build another, thing and this and that and the other. And my argument to that is, well, because we can, and not, Bitcoin is as good as it wasn't the end all be all, wasn't better than Hex, and that's not saying that, they don't all have their place. Things are going to be built that help the ecosystem, that are built with more positive externalities built into them, like you're looking at here. Now, so when you started, thinking this up, I'm trying to show people who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. Because I know I see who you are and what you're doing here. You put these other tokens in the mix in order to spread that positive externality through the whole system, right? I mean, when you started making this up, that was your intentions. What were you thinking there when you did all this? Because I know that's the blowback. If you just make your token and it does its thing, everybody's gonna say, oh well, core coins. Why do something else? But these are what your project is doing is actually doing something to make the whole ecosystem better. And explain, how you did that, why you did that.
Yep. So every element of, like, here's the thing, is that if you can build, like when you're building on an L1, right, you have the gas token that people have to get to get to your thing. And so if you can build your thing on the thing that you also like, and that is core to the ecosystem, and what you've built does a really, really, really good job at exciting people, forcing people to, even if there's moderate participation, to create more scarcity into one of the core tokens in the ecosystem, then the amount of positive feedback loops that can happen and the positive price performance that can happen for the ecosystem as a whole is next level. And so, Unity, again, this comes down to the name. It's like one product, one protocol can cause a chain reaction that feeds everything else. And Unity's not trying to compete with Hex. I don't want people to sell their Hex. I don't want people to sell any of the core tokens that they love to get into this system. Like, if you have stuff that you want to play with, sure. But if this is like your pride and joy, I'm not asking anyone to do it. I don't even want to insinuate that. Like, this is it's not competing. It's got a different vision, right? It's supplementary. And I think that, as time goes on, and people see the power of it, you might bring in a little extra capital to play with it. But you'll realize that Hex and Unity are two very different systems. They're completely different, and they always will be. They serve a different role, they serve a different purpose, and they're going to have different outcomes. When you understand Unity as well, like Hex can outperform Unity. Like if Unity and Hex were built on the same token, Hex could outperform by multiples because of the way the system of Unity operates, and because there's a floor systemically. And so it's going to go up and then it's going to come down. It's going to go up and come down. And it's going to oscillate over this floor that's increasing over time because of the difficulty metrics. But it's not designed to go off into the moon by itself. But if it couples itself with something that is deflationary, cap supply, and it can enhance that, then it can basically achieve that same thing. But by itself, it can't do that. So Hex is a different product. Very different timeline, very different purpose, different market, I would even say too. Potentially, yeah, completely. So
that brings the question. So you've got this protocol that obviously helps create more scarcity in PulseX, helps actually spend more pulse, which is deflationary. Also, obviously, it has some type of a buy and burn. You were saying. Or at least, buy and burn.
Pretty massive, yeah.
all that's positive externalities that are programmed into it, and I've studied those things, ad nauseum, and I understand how they work and why they're valuable. My question is this: the geek, the guy that's been around for a long time and studied enough of this that myself, I know, we understand what it means to the system. So, people have to push the button. Like, your token requires that people push the button. The button gets pushed. I mean, for any token, of course, that's obvious. It's either the buy button or the sell button, or,
Yep.
But the more the button's pushed, the more positive pressure it puts on the ecosystem. Paul Sachs, and like I said, different product than Hex. It's not the same thing. It's got some of the tokenomics that are built into Hex, or obviously you're using some of the concepts of the tokenomics, but the incentive and the education to get people to a point where they understand what this token does, or what it can mean to their portfolio, or what they might want to, how they can gauge this thing. What do you think? I mean, it's one thing to build these things and see how awesome and bitchin' and cool they work. It's another thing to go to, especially a community as fickle as this, that is like, oh fuck, just another fucking Rube Goldberg machine that's going to burn and buy and this and that and the other and this, and I got to stake, and I can already stake, and why would I stake, and blah 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 blah. What do you think? You've already developed, you're a developer, you got a developer mind, you get all this stuff. What's the formula to get people to push the button? What's going, obviously the community is your biggest market, and 3/4 of them are fickle, the other quarter of them don't know what's going on. How do you reach, or how do you think you're going to reach them and show them that, hey, my protocol does this and that, and you just need education? And how have you thought about that? Is there a way to get around that? Because I've seen all these things, and I mean, even with Hedron, people have, said, okay, yeah, Hex is good enough, everything else is just, and all these things have positive externalities built into them, and help the ecosystem, or give more options to people. Do you see a way around all that and getting education, teaching people how to push the button? What's your answer to that?
So it's actually been really cool, and this is why I'm really thankful that I did launch on Ethereum first, because now I'm coming to Pulse Chain with real world experience. I've been seeing what's been happening in the telegrams. I've been talking with people literally every day, and I've been learning about where people are not understanding, where people are understanding, and what's keeping them in, what's getting them excited. And when people like this, the simplest way that I can explain it to people is, this is something that you don't need to understand the system in order to play the game. The thing is, I've designed it in a way where people can come and know that they can consistently earn an ROI, right? If they want to play something that is just going to consistently do something over time, and it might be a high ROI, there might be periods of low, there might be periods of up and down, but they can play this game over the long term. And it's designed with the best of the best tokenomics kind of synced into one. But instead of having to know the system, all they need to do is they need to follow the big gold or the big blue, in the Unity case, numbers guiding them on which action is easiest, or which action is delivering the higher ROI currently. And all that's giving you is this action, if it's higher, means more tokens over the period that you're waiting. And then when that's done, you reassess which action's bigger ROI. Okay, gonna do this one next time. Boom. And you keep going back and forth, and you watch your tokens grow. And this becomes something that, is designed to hopefully one day be a nest egg for the people that get in early, that have that decide to play the long haul. Like when you get into the weeds of the system, even if you go a little bit deeper than this explanation here, which is literally, you got to type in the date, how much you want to put into the system, and then click go. And then 3 months later, come back and do that one more time. And then 3 months later, come back and do that one more time. And so when you go one layer deeper and you understand how I designed the difficulty in the system to be exponentially in favor of those going longer, then people start to realize that what they've already been doing is actually one of the most powerful ways to operate the system. And all that knowledge only concretely showcases why clicking the button with the biggest numbers at any given moment is typically the best way to operate in the system when you want to get the most tokens. And so it's kind of this rabbit hole where you start at the top and you just follow the shiny objects, right? I've designed it that way, where like if you go to the DApp, it shows you the next day's payout. And like,
so you
Torus,
gamified it a little bit so that people can see.
You know what? And I didn't realize how much I gamified it. I really didn't. I gamified it in a way that I was as well as I could. I put big shiny numbers on, huge numbers. I put big golden ROIs, you know. But what I didn't realize is that because of the nature of the supply being competitive, and there's this game of leapfrog where if I make a creation today and you come in tomorrow, you're taking from my future supply and you're deferring that into the future. And so what happens is on the daily token releases that we have on the dashboard that will be out for Unity as well, you can literally watch the numbers going down every single day when people are coming in. And this also means that people's share of the earnings over time is going down daily. And what I did not predict, and you can ask if there's anyone in the chat here that is in the Unity or Torus telegrams that has been in Torus so far, this is one of the hottest things in the telegrams. Like, I can't stop creating because I'm losing my share percentage every single day and it's killing me. I have to go in. And so all this together, like people are there. It is the gamified aspect of the share system. Then there's the, well, how does this stuff work? And then they come into the chats, and because I have chats every single day, they're able to ask questions and talk it through. And then all of a sudden they get it. They're starting to see the vision. They start to see how this whole system comes together, but it starts with that simplicity. And when you see the DApp, it comes together.
See, that's the one thing that I think that crypto needs more of. And I don't mean, goofy gamification. I mean, showing people the numbers in a way that they can see them easily and understand them easily. Like, for instance, you should have the buy and burn number clicking away. You should have how much pulse has been burnt clicking away, how much PulseX has been burnt clicking away, right there on the front of the website, so that people can see exactly what it's doing, versus you need to know and understand and have sit here and watched me stream, you stream, 100 guys stream, talking about what you're doing to understand what it's really doing. But if they can see it right in front of them, pulse burned, PulseX, burned, or whatever it is that you've got going on there, all of the ROI, the changings of the numbers in a simple, non-ridiculous way. I think that stuff like that, especially in protocols like this, is probably going to be the ones who win, the people that can show folks what it's actually doing versus, well, look, I mean, you hang out with the smart guys on the cutting edge of crypto. Like, there is nobody more advanced and cutting edge than you guys, period. End of story. Like, you guys are galaxy brain motherfuckers that nobody can understand even a little bit about what you guys are doing. And you guys understand it easy because finally one day it all clicked. You guys were doing all of this stuff, putting all this in, it, boom, and it clicked, and you're like, oh shit. And you went to it, you went to work, and you start building things, and you made things happen and make things work. And you see how the seesaws raise things and lower things, and how everything, but normal folks don't see that. And guys like me who've been in crypto since 2014 that understand it, that understand, metrics and tokenomics and staking and proof of work, proof of stake, all this other crap. I find it hard to wrap my head around seeing what it is that your token is actually doing. And if there's a place for me to go and see that happening real time, watching the numbers move and seeing what it's doing to all the tokens that it touches and to the investors that are in, I think that's the winning ticket there. So that you don't have to show me how it works. You don't have to, open the hood of the race car and show me what the timing is set at or whatever. Just put me in a car, show me how to get around the track and let me race, and let me see everything that's going on. I think that's the winning combination right there for things like this, is people need to see what it's actually doing. Because here's the thing. There's probably 3 or 4 people in the chat room already, talking shit about what you're doing and whatnot, or questioning it. And you're going to see that all the time. The maxis are going to get out there and they're going to do that. But if your proof is in the pudding and you're showing it to everybody without having to explain the tokenomics, and they can see easily what it's doing, versus how do I know it's burning PulseX? What's the tokenomics on how it burns PulseX or whatever? Blah, blah, blah. No, here it is right here. Here's the ticker. Look, here's the PulseX being burned every second of every day. Here it is. Oh shit, that's what it does. Oh crap, and more people are buying. Oh, and that's what it's doing. Oh, and that's my ROI. And I think that's the ticket.
Mm-hmm. That's really, that's why like day 2, I had a dashboard out. I had a dashboard built and had, so all people could watch the numbers moving, watch the stats, watch the supply, watch the creations, watch the stakes, all these different moving parts. And then a community member actually came out. What's that?
So you've done all that, and that's in the website.
And that's it. This isn't a separate dashboard. We have links in the website to the Dune dashboard that you can go click on, boom, right there. And we're going to have the same thing for Unity, hopefully out on the day it launches. And this is, you're hitting on the big thing. I wanted twofold. One, I wanted the simplest, easiest to understand DApp, even if it's got everything possible complex under the hood. And I also wanted all the information to be out in the open immediately. I didn't want there to be paywalls. I didn't want there to be anything, but everyone to have the same information. And what I also didn't think about initially was what you're pointing to, which is how powerful that is for people to understand what's happening within the system. Because from day 2 or 3, when this dashboard got launched for Torus, to now, like, people have had their minds blown, and me too, honestly, seeing it in real time, watching the supply numbers for the big day 89 start at like 4.7 million tokens expected to come out, and now come all the way down to 1.7. And we still have 60 days to go. It's like, this is insane. And so people are getting so excited. They're starting to see the leapfrog and the competitiveness and how the self-decentralization happens, and it's getting sticky. And so for Unity, everything we're talking about is exactly the same, but tailored to PulseX specifically, with the dashboard, the design of the DApp and everything. And was there one thing I wanted to hit on quickly, but it might have just slipped my mind with everything I was just saying there. What was it? So you hit on the idea of Hedron and Icosa, right? And everyone trying to figure out what the hell was going on. I personally, that was like, I love that. I know you guys, if anyone was watching my content, that was all I talked about for like months. I just like ate that up. And one of the things that I really loved about Hedron was the HSIs, the stakes that you can create, that you can move around, right? And so we are actually in the process of, for both Torus and Unity, coming out very soon, hopefully not long after Unity launch, but it might be a little bit still, we'll see, for people to be able to create or stake and have that same feature where they can move their creations and their stakes around from wallet to wallet, like as soon as possible. So this is not a one and done thing for me. I have a much bigger vision. And even this layer, I've said this publicly, so I'll say it here, that this layer where people can have NFTs and then maybe sell them on the marketplace or just move them from wallet to wallet for security reasons, this is a foundational layer for something even bigger that is coming down the pipeline that seals the deal on this. And I don't want to say anything else, but I do want people to understand that this is not a one and done. This is something that is going to be much bigger than a single protocol, because I've learned a ton, and one protocol could not encapsulate it all. So I have a lot to bring out still.
Nice. Well, I mean, I watch how these things launch, and I watch how they're accepted, and I know that there's a lot of excitement around a lot of the smart people that get in, and then those that don't understand. And there's so many of these protocols too. I just think that getting it in front of people as simple as possible and showing them how it moves the whole system is how you want to communicate to everybody. Because you don't want just, you're going to get a core group of people that come in, that have been in your Telegram room, that are bringing folks in, that are bringing investors in and whatnot. But how are you going to get that protocol after? Because here's the thing, and you're going to prepare for it too, I'm sure, and you can tell me your thoughts on if you've got a safeguard for this. When Ethereum really starts pumping, it's going to suck the air out of the room. Now, the tide's going to raise all ships, but people are going to be running to Ethereum. I don't think this ecosystem will be running to Ethereum as much as, like, say, the rest of the altcoin system. You know what happens. ETH runs, everything gets sucked out of all the other coins. And then wham, it flows back in, like, Hex is going to run, and it's going to, all the other altcoins are going to run after that. And then, but when the core coins in this community start running, that's when the energy gets sucked out of the room of everything that's involved. What's your fix for that? What are you preparing for that? Is that something you've been thinking about? What's your thoughts?
Well, it's actually critical to the design of this whole system, is for that scenario where people leave to go somewhere else. And again, this is part of
88 days.
88 days.
88 days.
Yeah. So here's the thing with creating, which is kind of like, a minting, mining ish mechanic. Because it's a new thing, I'm just going to refer to it kind of like that, but it's not. It's a new thing. Acts similar ish. But what happens is you have, with staking, the ability to early end stake at the 50% mark, and you can get your principal back. And so what this allows people to do is to end early and leave and go to ETH, go somewhere else, do whatever they want, right? But what happens is every single Unity token is worth a fixed number of shares in the system when staked or created over 88 days. So one token is worth 7,744 shares. I'm not going to ask you to remember that, for the love of God. But 7,744 shares for every single token in the pool. So what happens is when people say, nah, I'm done, I'm going to go over to ETH, they're actually making more room for people to earn in the pool. So the ROI for everybody else goes up. It's reflexive. And so when people start leaving en masse, let's say like in large quantities, the people that are staying, let's say the price dips, people now, you're not buying tokens. You're buying shares at a discount.
The pool's gotten smaller, but the inflation's gotten bigger, so you're getting more of the tokens.
Exactly. So it's this crazy push-pull. And the thing is, because the system is always getting more difficult over time, and shares are always getting more difficult to get in form of earning from the Unity pool, right? You get this situation where people that understand the system are going to fight for that, because when you're already seeing it in Torus. Already seeing it. It's crazy. Like, people were coming in, they didn't even understand creating, and they were buying up the price chart to just stake because they just wanted to stake. And this is showing that staking has a massive demand. And we're only going to see this more. But anyways, it's the whole point of when things are drawing out from the ETH side is you can't completely eradicate that. It's not possible, I don't think. And it'd be ridiculous to say, I've solved it.
Price action, period.
Exactly.
It's reflexive in helping those that are loyal, that stake, that are staying in, because they're going to get more inflation. But of course, it's going to hurt the price, which doesn't matter, because those who are staked are long game players. So they're hoping for the gains later. I'd rather earn the tokens now, stay, and other people can go look for green pastures and chase green candles. I'm going to stake and stay and gain more yield, just like we're kind of seeing in the Hex ecosystem right now, where, the yield has gone down because the OA is staked. Bear market ends. Value can go up. People can start staking again. Yada, 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 yada. I get it.
Mm-hmm,
yep.
Mm-hmm. And then when you add into that mix too, that every time someone wants to stake, whether it's that opportunity, let's say someone's selling and there's an opportunity to get cheap shares now, even if they get cheap shares, they still have to burn PulseX to get back in the system. Yeah. So every opportunity to play in the system,
so the ebbs and the flows both burn and move the system.
Exactly.
You're burning and burning and creating value in the PulseX ecosystem, in or out. You're moving the needle up.
Exactly. You cannot take an action in the system that in some way does not cause a reaction to end up burning PulseX. Really, just it's designed. What's that?
It's burning either way. It's when I was a millwright, here in Southern California, I moved machinery. So I moved machinery in and I moved machinery out. So in good times, I was putting machines in, and in bad times in the economy, I was moving them out. So I was always working. I was always making money. no matter what was going on in the economy. I had a great job. It was, I mean, it was a suck job, but I was making money whether the economy was doing good or doing bad. I was either moving them in or I was moving them out. So I always had a, good. And that's what it reminds me of, is that you've built a system within an ebb and a flow where you're creating energy going both ways, which that's what's cool about crypto, man. That's what's cool about DeFi, is that you can take these externalities and make that energy work for you going both ways. And that's cool, man. It's what this stuff was made to do, is, come up with ideas like that to make things work for everything. The energy going in, the energy going out, whatever it may be,
Yep. Well, and let's take it a step further here, because this is already like really cool and exciting, but this system is even more extreme than this. So if you want to think about this in terms of the Unity's ability to burn PulseX, right? Let's say on day one, every token can burn a little bit of PulseX in terms of when it wants to come into the system via staking, right? In order for that one token to be staked, a little bit of PulseX needs to be burnt. Now, let's say that's 5 PulseX on day one, just for example, right? On day 2, that's going to go up to just over 5. By day 20, it might be 5.1 PulseX that needs to come in. And eventually we get to day around nearly 900. Now it takes that single token, now takes 10 PulseX to burn in order to get into the Unity pool. But also, so that's huge. It's already, by that point, it's taking twice as much PulseX per token. But what's happening is the supply is expanding so fast that now you have, this is where things get crazy. And if this goes over anyone's head, I apologize, but this is one of the most important things to understand the power and the depth of its impact that it is going to have on PulseX, is that each token is having an increasing amount of PulseX that it can burn every time it comes in the system. And every day, more Unity is being distributed. And so the supply is expanding and expanding and expanding. And every one of those tokens is able to bring in more and more and more PulseX while there's more and more tokens coming in over time. And this creates an unbelievable exponential rise in the amount of PulseX required to stake 50% of the supply, 30% of the supply, 80% of the supply at any given time. So for example, when there's 10 million tokens out in Unity, it'll take, I believe it's 50 billion PulseX that will be required to stake all 10 million. And that's about 100 or so days in. And that means there's going to be about 4% of that are burned. So that's, if my math is right, that would be 10. Is that 10 billion?
You're asking the wrong guy.
No, sorry. 50 billion. That'd be a couple billion. It's still in the billions. It's still in the billions is the point. So it's like 1 point something or close to 2 billion. I believe it is. That would be burned immediately. And that's only in the first 100 days. And then the supply expands. There's more Unity, more PulseX required per Unity. Boom. Even more Unity burned the next time, even more PulseX burned the next time around, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on, until a point where there's no PulseX, and the only thing PulseX can do is like start reaching Andromeda and all sorts of other crazy places in space that are just...
So the supply is basically limited to how much PulseX can be burned, right?
Well, the supply is fixed at about 125 million.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it's fixed.
It's a fixed end supply. It's like Bitcoin. It inflates over time, like vertical at first, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then it goes, yeah, they all do. Vertical at first, and then slowly tapers out over time and flattens, and never quite gets to 125 million. So it caps there.
It just keeps half and half and half and half and half and half and half.
Exactly. And it just never quite reaches that. And what's cool is the difficulty, though, of the system never stops. So even when the system gets to 124.999999 million tokens, the amount of PulseX required to stake a single token is still going up every single day.
Yeah. Because it's just it keeps, whatever they call it, halving on itself over and over and over and over and over and over. It can never go to zero. It just keeps zeroing out, and the PulseX is still going up, whether or not you're really creating any real supply anymore. You're still burning PulseX at more exponential rate.
Yep, exactly. And
very cool galaxy brain shit, man.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to stop me because I mean, there's so much to this. It's so fun to talk about. I mean,
yeah, and then you say you have more shit that you're building on top of it. That's cool, man. It's cool.
Dude, just wait. Just you guys wait. I mean, this is gonna be so fun. Yeah. I can't wait, man. I'm so excited. I honestly, you know, it's funny to be here right now, having as much fun, having these conversations. Given I just can't stop thinking about where I was like, honestly, I was pretty bummed out. I was like, not depressed, but you know, when you get close to that state where you're like, what am I doing with myself? Who am I? Where am I? Like, what's happening here? Like, what am I doing with myself? And to be there, and it's not dark, but like as close as it's been to dark times. And then flick of a switch, like a year and a half later. And now it's like, I am so energized and full of life again.
Man, that's all it takes. It's really like in this crazy crypto space that we're in, man. I mean, gosh, when I was just wrecked before Hex came, and I was so jaded. And then, you know, that first year was just insane. Like your whole life changed. And you know, and like I said, I didn't put, you know, life changing value at risk. I put a very modest amount of, you know, money at risk here. I mean, it was my crypto bag that I've been building for a while off of a small amount. But it was house money, basically, you know, all my Bitcoin and everything. And to see it do, you know, a 10,000x in, you know, within, you know, a year and a half, a year, it's euphoric. It's insane. You know, it's insane. And you know, to give it all back to Richard for sacrifices, I was rather ironic. It was like, yeah, here, I'm going to show you guys how to make a bunch of money, and then I'm going to ask you for it back.
When you put it like that, man.
I wouldn't have it any other way. It really, I mean, it's all turned out great. And, you know, what you guys all have been doing here, what Richard's been doing here is, you know, giving me hope again in this crypto space. And just, I'm euphoric just seeing everything that's going on. I know we're not in like monster green candle land. I mean, we were at 3 cents on Hex, you know, a few months ago, you know, and you know, and here we are creeping to a penny and a half, you know, and everybody's euphoric. But it's really not just, you know, the number go up, why everybody's so happy right now. It's what everybody sees coming. You know, you can see it coming. You can feel it in the air, what's about to happen. And you know that it's, you know, I know there was a lot of talk, oh, Hex is missing the bull run and it's going to miss it and this and that and the other. And we haven't seen it yet. It hasn't happened yet. It's not here yet. This is a different kind of bull, and not much different, I don't think. But I think that crypto has come to a place where this is possibly going to be the biggest move that we've ever seen as far as, you know, the whole ecosystem goes. It's going to be really, really exciting. And that's why I think everybody's fired up right now, is because you can see it, you can smell it, you can feel the kinetic energy. You know, all the things that Richard's talking about, what he's doing with the marketing and you know, and just to tap on that a little bit, you know, he'd been talking about doing real marketing for a long time. And we all know that, you know, in Hex's first run, for Big Payday, we had, there was somebody in I think in London that was tagging buses, tagging taxi cabs, you know, putting articles in newspapers. So there was some marketing that was going on, with Hex back then. And it coincided with the bull run. It coincided with the halfening and the bull run and everything else that was going on, with the adoption amplifier and everything. It all coincided and created that 10,000x. You know, Richard knew what he was doing. The people that were working with him knew what they were doing. and and the marketing was part of it, and here he is, he's getting ready to start a massive marketing campaign. Or there's nonprofit organizations that are out there that are participating in it. I've been privy to some of it. I've been, helping people out that are talking about it and whatnot. But I just think that everything's falling into place. All the right things are being done. The fact that they are going to be doing some marketing is going to help. I don't think I see the community out there, busting on the marketing campaign and the devices or whatever they're coming out. And it's like, guys, it's just part of it. Like, it's just part of it. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot more than, just everyone was busting on the postcards. It's just part of it, guys. The guys are out there doing postcards. It's their thing. Why row your boat gently down the stream, folks? Get together, synergize, positive feeds on positive, helping each other out instead of trying to drag each other down, going with the flow, making people aware of these things, educating, showing unity, being part of the kinetic energy, going in the same direction. Go into a mosh pit and go the opposite way and see what happens, right? It's that same, you got to go with the flow. You got to go with the flow, and you got to keep it. And that's what gets that energy going. And that's what we got to do here. It's like, why, if you're part of the system, would you go out there and knock a marketing campaign and talk shit about it? Why would you do that to your own bags? Why would you sit there and why would you not get behind it? That's marketing, guys. That's what marketing is it doesn't matter how goofy, corny, or whatever you think it is. If you say it's fucking cool, if you say it's good, it's bad, then that's what people think of it. If you get out there and knock it and talk shit, then a handful of people start listening to you and start doing that. And then there's people out there going, yeah, well, the cool guy over there is saying that it's shitty, so maybe I shouldn't, gently down the stream, guys. Get behind everybody, push everybody in the same direction, get things moving. Things like this, Unity. You guys are, perpetually working on moving the system in the right direction. And that's cool, man. And I wish the best for you and what you're doing. I hope that it turns out freaking phenomenal. Again, everybody, do your research, look at what they're doing. Again, your dev team, I don't know if you want to mention them or if that's hush or whatever.
No, I'd love to.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're the goat of dev teams, in my opinion. I couldn't be happier to be working with them. Many of you will know Rags to Riches, or Brandon Davis. He is, he's been around for quite a while, built many things, and he owns buildthetech.com. And he and his team are phenomenal. They have built many protocols. All of them have been, if they've all operated perfect from basically day one. And I've been fortunate enough to work with them since, for Torus and now for Unity. And I could not be more thrilled. I mean, their craftsmanship is incredible. How much they care about their work, how much they care about seeing the success of the protocols they build. It's been really cool. And I mean, God, it's pretty intense to think about taking on a protocol and putting that out there and people putting their money into something that could potentially go wrong, because you can only audit something so much, and you never quite know if it's for 100% certainty, And
audit, in my opinion, I've been on that end of it. I've been on I'm not a dev. I've been on the team of where devs are involved, and guys, the audits are bullshit. I'm sorry. It's like it's partial security, partial. You're taking other people's words that I've seen miss things, that I've seen, not do the right things. So yeah, sure, an audit. You did your due diligence and you paid for it, and you're trying to show everybody that you're doing the right thing. Okay, great. But could there still be problems? Could there still be an issue? Did they catch everything? Are they on the up? yeah, a lot of times I thought that was a waste of money. I think that if you have a legitimate dev team with integrity, with staying power, with a track record, that's your best bet versus trusting an audit, and I know that, because the audit has been, popularized and kind of people like, oh, that's the stamp of approval. And in my opinion, it's not, because I've seen it not be. I think it's really a waste of the dev team's money and time and effort. And I'd rather see a solid dev team with a track record doing their work versus an audit. And in my opinion, and I'm not endorsing, you or your project or whatever they don't have a better team out there than Rags and his team. They're phenomenal. I wish I would have been able to work with them when I had projects going on, but he's solid, and they don't make better integrity out there than that gentleman. I mean, he is the best of the community of us, and anything that he's put his hand on has, been solid technology. So I commend you for bringing that team in, because they, in my opinion, they're the best, especially in Pulse, because they know Pulse Chain. They know what they're doing here. And when it comes to integrity, there's no one I trust more than that guy there. So.
Well, 100%. Well, that's why I couldn't believe I actually found them, because I was working with one team prior and just nothing got done for a couple months. And I reached out to Rags again or Brandon and decided, yeah, okay, let's make it happen. And then it was like instantaneously, I could not believe the quality of everything from the onset of, okay, this is how things are going to go. Here's the timelines. It was just like, I especially because a lot of this space is amateur hour times 20 million. It's like
I had devs that I owed money walk away. Like, bro, I owe you money. I got to pay you. Like, tweet, cricket. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you abandoned the project that you are owed money on. Like, what is your trip? I don't get it. Like, and you're done with it. Like, you're done with it. Like, you just had to clean up a couple of things, anyway. But I mean, that's the kind of shit I seen out there, and it maybe not nefarious stuff, but just lazy, no good, no work ethic. I mean, it was pathetic, some of the stuff I saw with some of these devs. And with Rags, you don't get that. He's solid. They don't make him any more solid than that. He's professional. I haven't seen much of professionalism in this space. And he's that. So hats off to you. Good job on securing him, man.
Somehow, some way it happened, man. And you know what's cool too, even on the whole side of security too, Unity is quadruple audited now officially. So not only do we have one of the best dev teams, in my opinion, in this space that I've come across from hearing from others in my experience, and then looking at the track records, but we also have 4 audits done on Unity by the time it's been done. We had 3 audits done on Torus, and we had now another one that just completed today for Unity, and it came back with nothing. So a couple of informational things. That was it, really.
Very cool. All right, everybody out in the chat room, anybody else want to come in here and chat with us? You don't have to talk about graphics project. We've gone over that. You can come in here and talk about anything else. This is the FN Hangout. If not, we're gonna get ready to wrap it up here. Anything you want to kind of close with there, buddy?
I would love to, if I could. Can I pull up the front page of the Unity dApp just to give people a quick idea of the layout, and then I'll say 1 or 2 things, and that'd be it.
Can we do it real quick? Because I really don't like doing that, but we can do it real quick. Just
yeah, I'm not gonna dive into the dApp itself. I'm just gonna be like, ta-da, and then we'll talk.
Let's see. SJ, can you pull that up?
Here, I'll pull it up. I can.
You got it?
Just let me know when it's up on stream here.
Here we go. Let me add it up. Bang, a bang, a bang.
So all I'm going to show you guys is this is what you get when you come to Unity. 1 button. You choose your action.
Very clean.
That's it.
Very clean.
So everything, and this is the reason why I wanted to do this, was because everything we talked about is super complicated. And there's so many moving parts. There's so many this, and there's shares, and there's that, blah, 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 blah. But then it all comes down to simplicity. And this is the idea behind Unity that I want to bring to Pulse Chain. So, I mean, the only thing I would say is thank you for having me on. This has been a pleasure again to come on and hang with you and on the chat and all the Hexicans. And I'm really excited to see this whole ecosystem really start to take off here. And if people do want to learn more about Unity, the best place to do that is in the Telegram. So it's t.me/UnityWin, and then follow Unity.win on X.
SJ is going to have all the links there in the bio down here, and he has it all. She has it all down there already, so it's good to go. And the other thing I wanted to tell everybody, a security protocol. So, what'd you do, SJ? Oh, oops. At the bottom of that of his website, it says connect wallet. I want to teach everybody something here real quick. If you're going to go and connect to a DApp and you're going to do it for the first time, you need to get yourself a wallet that is not connected to all of your stakes, all of your anything that you have out there, your big value. Go get a test wallet. Set it up if you want to go in and play with something, you want to connect to a DApp, and use that. Do not go in with your crypto value and connect to any DApp. Do not do it. Not from anybody on this channel or any channel out there. Go get yourself a test wallet if you want to play with something, and go do that. That's the safest protocol you can do. Do not stick your stuff into holes that you don't want it stuck into.
Well said.
Stick. So with that, I appreciate you coming on, bro. And again, like I said, folks, I am not endorsing his product because I don't know it. I don't know what it does. I know the people who built it. I know who he is. And there in and of itself makes me interested, and even wanting to talk to him in depth about it like we did, just because I know what they're doing. I know what their plans are and what their intentions are. And as far as integrity goes, these people are my friends. And so, that's my disclaimer. I know them, and I'm not telling anybody to buy their stuff or get involved. And if you do, be careful, do your due diligence, and don't ever overextend yourself on anything, because this stuff's all dangerous, can go up and down and go to nothing. And there's all kinds of things that can happen as far as, dev stuff, even though the devs that I think that built this did probably a phenomenal job. You got to be careful. So with that, I'll say thanks for coming, bro. Appreciate you. And man, come back and we'll do an update when you guys launch after your initial is it like an inflation period? Is that what's happening right now?
No, it's so that DApp I showed you is just a private, like a little test thing. So it's not live at all. It goes live.
You have was that for the other protocol you had on ETH that was doing that?
Yeah, so ETH is going through. There's kind of just operating. There's no real inflation phase. It's just operating at the highest numbers. Yeah.
Okay, so you haven't even started to have people jump into it yet or anything like that.
Well, Torus is getting decent, but yeah, Unity, no. The Telegram's pretty much empty right now. It's 200, almost 300 people still. So.
Oh, nice. Right on, bro. Well, hey, good job and awesome job on explaining what you're doing there. And again, I'm rooting for you. I wish you the best, and keep on tearing it up in the ecosystem.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And I would echo, please don't just jump into this thing because you got excited on the stream. Please do your damn due diligence. Let this thing prove itself through not my words, but how it operates, and then be extra careful.
Right on. All right, everybody, have a good weekend. We'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll make it to our cigar show, and we'll see you then. Take care. Hey, go find us a van. Richard said he was looking for a van or something.
I'll work on it.